Hi, today I'm going to show you how to put together the Hexagon wine glass box. First, I like to put the panels on first before I assemble. It makes it easier, so I'm showing you how to put the sides on here. And I would also fold it on all the scores at the same time. There's also a top panel included in the file. It's just not shown here. I just forgot to add it and I added it later. Here are the panels for the bottom section of the box. So there's a total of 6 panels for the bottom section. And again, you could put these on later. I just think it's easier to put the panels on when it's flat rather than already folded. So we'll finish up the bottom section. Then we'll move on to put the panels on the top back side of the box. There's only 3 panels, as there's 3 openings in the front. It would be fun to use a cardstock with an embossing folder, embossed raised panels as well. I just had this stack sitting around and I thought it would be fun, kind of a neutral color but fun to use. So next, after we get these panels on, for the bottom section only, the bottom pieces, so we're going to move that aside. Go ahead and fold the bottom pieces on the score lines. Included in the file are 2 hexagons, one with round corners and one with sharp corners. The sharp corner is the one you want to use for the bottom of the box to assemble it. So put aside the one with the rounded corners. That's an extra panel. Go ahead and add glue to that side tab of one of the bottom pieces, or I should say the bottom piece since it has tabs on both sides. Go ahead and align that other edge up to the tab fold. And just make sure it's aligned in the top and bottom. And I always do have a wet paper towel around because I'm not the cleanest with my glue. I try to put it on lightly, but I got a heavy hand. Then you can turn it around and apply additional pressure from within. Then before we assemble or close that up, we want to add the hexagon piece, the bottom piece. So go ahead and add glue to that first tab, and this will anchor it. So you want to match up a side and make sure that it lines within the tab fold. It helps to pull the side of the box panel up just to make sure that it's aligned and flush with that fold. So you'll see it'll wrap around. So next we are going to attach the next 2 tabs. Now you could do one at a time. I don't like to do more than 2 because it's a fast drying glue. I'm not that fast. So you're just going to fold it around, match up that side to the tab fold, the inside tab fold. Apply pressure from the bottom and then again rotate it again to align that third side. And it makes it easier for me to apply pressure on the table from above. So we'll repeat this with the next 2. If you want to do 3, that's up to you. Like I said, I'm not fast enough. And go ahead and again, the repetition, line it up. It will get more difficult as it gets smaller, but you can still reach in. For here, I was having difficulty holding it, so just adjust the box so it's easier to hold to get it aligned properly. And then for these last 2 tabs, I added glue to both. I think it's easier, even though I was opposite in this video, to line up that side tab first. And you want to apply pressure from within, make sure it's aligned properly, and then flip over that last tab. But on this video I flipped over the tab first. It really doesn't make a difference, but I think it's easier the other way. So there are the tabs, and now you can see what the hexagon with the rounded corners for. It's to cover those tabs if you don't want to see them, and also give you additional strength to the bottom. It really doesn't need the strength, but a lot of people don't want to see the tabs, so I just included this. And once you glue it on, you'll want to apply pressure. You can rub like that. And if you want additional pressure, go ahead and flip it over and reach in. And we'll put that aside and work on the top piece that'll be attached to that. First, we want to fold both pieces. So this is the one with the openings. You do have to be careful around the openings because there's not a lot of, it'll bend a little bit, so you want to carefully score them best you can. And make sure they're good and scored before you put it on, because it's harder to bend. If you don't have them scored right, it might not bend properly when you assemble the box. So there you have, they're both folded and ready to go. I apologize for this blurry video, but now we're going to attach the pieces together like we did the bottom of the box. So just go ahead and apply glue to that side tab, and then align up the edge of the other piece and apply pressure. And then you can do that from within too. Fortunately, I noticed it was blurry, so I restarted the video, fixed it, and now we're going to attach this piece to the bottom. We want to start by adding glue to one of the tabs under the solid panel. This will make it easier later to reach in and apply pressure to the remaining tabs. So go ahead and line up one of those tabs to the edge of the bottom. So you want to make sure, again, that edge matches that tab fold. And then once you have it in place, you can flip it over to apply additional pressure. Then clean up your extra glue if you do what I do. I really do try to put less, but it doesn't always work. And then we'll continue to attach the solid panels, one tab at a time. They should line up well. If you got that first one anchored in place correctly, these should go on rather smoothly. So you can see how I kind of move it around to insert it. Make sure it's aligned again with the edges aligned with the tab fold. And then once again. With the glue, it's just helpful not to get too much in there. I mean, I'm sure you're better than I am, but if you need any glue tips, just try to, just don't put a whole lot of glue and not really close to the edges. Also will leak like all mine do. So now we're going to switch to the first opening next to the panel that we first attached. And this is the same step as the solid ones, but as you can see, it'll be easier to put your fingers in to apply pressure from the other side with that opening. And this is the reason why I do it in this order. If you did it the other way, it'll be difficult to get your hand in there to apply the pressure you need to those tabs. It's really not difficult to put together. It just takes a little patience and waiting for the glue to dry. If you're going to make an extra special glass for somebody, you might as well give them an extra special box. And then we'll attach this tab first, and then we'll attach that side tab. I don't put the glue all at once. I did have trouble on this particular box. It was late at night when I filmed this, so my side didn't really go on really well, this little last side tab. So just take your time. You would do better than I would. You can have a fine tip applicator to put glue in. I already did that. I had a little fine tip applicator, and go ahead and match that edge up to the tab fold. I just overlapped it just a little bit for this box. It still worked, so don't think you can't do that. But that's what happened there. And because it's quick drying glue, there's not really easy fixing it sometimes. So last we need to put together the lid. So you just add glue to those little tabs next to the sides, and then you'll want to attach it underneath the adjacent side, and you'll continue that all the way around until you glue all the tabs and the lid is shut. I did speed up this video a little bit because once you get it, obviously. But if you want to watch the whole thing, I wanted to make sure you could see majority of it. With my hexagon lids or anything like this, this is the method I usually use. What's nice with this, you can kind of hold one tab while you glue the next one, so you can hold it longer. So here's a completed lid. Now we'll just add a glass to the box so you can see what it looks like, all finished. Put the lid on, and here you go. Thank you for watching.